My watch is already telling me that this week you've walked less than you did last week. Traveling abroad is always a very unique, interesting event. I don't know about you, but I tend to always compare our culture with the culture of the other country that I'm visiting. It's just out of habit. It's not necessarily done to criticize anything, but more or less, increase my level of awareness and to understand the differences.
Rocking Mama to Real Mama, Mamta B.
Hello, hi. In the past few weeks, I've walked about 250,000 steps. Yes, that's roughly 12,000 steps per day, almost about 160 kilometers in total. Now, why was I walking this way? Was it a walkathon I was taking part in? Or was it a New Year resolution that I was fulfilling almost towards the end of the year? Or was it a part of my exercise? Well, I wish it was a part of my exercise. I wish I could put in 12,000 steps every day. Unfortunately, that was not the case. I walked so much that my calf muscles, they were, cramping. Well, that was because I was traveling. I was traveling to one of these busy, very busy, big, large European cities. I'd gone to London to spend a few weeks there to celebrate my son's graduation and also to spend some time with my family. Now, we all know what happens when you go abroad to these big cities. We all plan a budget and we try to stick to the budget as much as possible, but it doesn't always go your way. Now, when you travel from one place to another, taking taxis out there, as we all know, is a very, very expensive way of traveling. And if it's your first time in a big city like that, taking public transport, taking the underground tubes, they can all be a little bit daunting. Thankfully, I was there many times before, so I knew the layout of the huge city. As I was looking up, just to get a clearer reference, London is over 30 times bigger than Kathmandu. So just to put it into perspective. And for me, I love walking generally, but even better when there's a proper pavement, especially made for pedestrians, and there's safety to walk around and wander about. So yeah, I did a lot of walking, which is great. My phone is already telling me, this week you're walking much lesser than you did last week, so it's counting. Unfortunately, coming back to Nepal, where can you walk, honestly? Where can you really take a long walk without being afraid of crossing the road or, being hit by something or the other? The horn, the noise, the dust. It's a bit difficult, I think, going for long walks here. It's only when you come back home from such a big city that you realize how small we really are and how quickly you can actually get from one point to another, even with all the traffic jams that we have. Whenever I travel out of Nepal, I always find myself trying to, in a way, compare our city, our country to that country. I do it unknowingly, but I don't think it's a way of criticizing. It's more like I want to, I want to increase my awareness about different cultures, different lifestyles. And in that regard, it just sounds like I'm comparing a bit. What I really enjoyed about traveling to London this time, as I always do, is, of course, like I said earlier, walking, but the big, big parks that are there everywhere in different parts of the city. These big parks, they're amazing. The landscape, the flowers, those trees. There's always a route for running. There's always another route for walking, proper parking. Places where you can have your picnic, places where you can play with the children. There are toilets, ponds. I mean, it's just such a lovely way to spend the day. And right now, it being summer, the sun never sets. This can be a problem for people who have to work early the next morning because you can actually go about the whole day and look at your watch and be like, oops, it's almost midnight. I should be home and I should be, getting some sleep to wake up to work the next morning. But for people like us who are tourists, we can really make the most of these long summer days and literally spend the whole night at the park. That is what I miss here back in Nepal. We don't have enough green spaces. Out there, every community has a park. They have a little library. They have a community hall. They have a community gym, a community playground for the children, a community church or a religious, place for people to go to. There's so many things that are in place for the community to enjoy. I think that is severely lacking here in Nepal. I wish we had little green spaces in every little community. That would make it so much more enjoyable for the elderly people who could take walks safely, for women, for housewives who could spend some time in the afternoon just chatting with their friends, leaving their work, leaving home, and, sitting outside in the open air, for children to have a place to go to and play. The other thing that I really enjoyed this time was going to the theater. And this time I managed to check in 2 of those. The Devil Wears Prada, a hilarious take on Titanic. And both were absolutely hilarious and funny. That was quite a treat. You can see the 4 great people who walked on that street. They put that picture up on one of their most famous albums. So there I went and took a walk along that and saw the Abbey Studios. That was quite interesting. And even then, there were so many tourists lining up to cross the road, and then that's also the way for traffic to pass by here and there. And people were so angry. The people who were driving were so angry because tourists wanted to take pictures on the way. But hey, isn't that a given? I mean, it's a historic place, and tourists are coming here to enjoy this moment. So I don't know what all the rudeness was about, but that was it.
Hits FM 91.2.